Good Monday morning, everyone. Glad you're here. It looks like people are starting to vacation. I hope you have something planned eventually for yourself if you haven't gone away already. It's important to create that work-life balance so that we're not, getting overly stressed or overworked or overburdened, and we can free up some headspace. Over the weekend, I led a Reiki retreat. I trained people in the yoga studios last year, and it wasn't what I wanted, because we did training for like 9 hours straight. You can imagine 9 hours sitting on a hardwood floor is not very comfortable. And it felt a little rushed, and I just thought last year, I was like, I'm not gonna do it this way again. So I decided to rent this little cottage, and it's out in Leaper's Fork. It's something that I had seen a few years ago, and I adored it. And I thought about renting it just for myself because it was so cute. And someone had called me a few weeks ago, and they said, hey, I'm looking for training. Can you create something? And I said, sure. And she actually sent me the cottage.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, we are going to this cottage. She was like, I found this place, it might work. And I was like, oh yeah, because I had told her if it was okay with her, I was thinking about turning it into a weekend retreat so that we could sit on furniture, so that we could have time in between, lectures and practicing, where we could just kind of break free from it a little bit and snack and sit and eat and go outside and, just kind of take our time with it and absorb it, process it better. But anyway, she had a friend that also wanted to do it with her. Now, her friend flew down from New Jersey for this. And my initial thought was something where I'm going for our theme today, because I think it's systematic in our culture, and maybe as humans or as women, I don't know, you can probably relate to some degree. My first thought was, wow, she's flying from New Jersey. Is there not anybody in New Jersey? I know there's people in New Jersey. Why is she flying in and she's never even met me, And it was just a passing thought. I didn't dwell on it. But over the weekend, she flew in and there was a delay, and it was fine because it gave me time to, set everything up at the house before they arrived. So it ended up being perfect. Well, anyway, make a long story short, her friend that lives here, that brought her down, is psychic. And while we were going through the training, she was talking about, she was like, I always work with energy anyway. I help to shift energy in people. I have my own system. And I wanted to learn a different system. I wanted to learn this type of energy work. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be an extra tool in your toolbox. You're going to love it. Then when we started to do the Reiki, we call in for the highest aligned vibration of love and light if they want to come in to help. So for instance, I'll call in the 4 archangels when I'm doing Reiki. I can't see the other side, but I can feel their presence, and I trust that they're there because I called them in. And so if I need help from any of them, I'll call them in. Even though I can't see it, I trust it's happening because I know plenty of people that have that ability, and when they're doing it, they are there doing it. So anyway, we're practicing the Reiki, and she's working on her friend that came from New Jersey, and her friend that came from Jersey is an acupuncturist. And she got into acupuncture because she was working in the office. I don't know if she was like the helper or the receptionist, and she started to learn a lot about it, and she decided, well, I want to do this too. Well, when she got into acupuncture, her life completely changed. She took over this office with 2 rooms. Her business is booming, and now she's making more money than her husband has ever made. And it's making her husband feel a little emasculated, making her husband feel like he's not enough because now his wife is, kind of rising above him financially, right? So that had been a piece of our conversation through the training. But anyway, while she was doing the first Reiki session, the side gig on her friend, that's the acupuncturist, I'm trying not to laugh because I'm just sitting back and observing and holding the space, but her friend is so expressive. And she's like, I can tell because I've given Reiki so much, I can tell when she's getting images or flashes or intuitive hits because she's making all these faces like surprised and disgusted. And anyway, and finally she's like, is it okay if I talk? I'm like, please talk, ask questions, And she says, well, it's just really weird for me because I'm used to doing all the work and I'm just supposed to let the Reiki run, right? And I'm like, yeah, turn your hands on, do the Reiki, that's all you do. And she said, well, Mother Mary's here. And she goes, I called in for the highest vibration possible for the healing of my friend. And Mother Mary's here, should I let her help? She's wanting to help. And I'm like, if it's Mother Mary, yes, let her help. And she's like, well, it's definitely Mother Mary, she's just a beautiful essence. She's so calm and she's trying to bathe her in all this blue light. I'm like, she's helping with the healing. And then someone else came in and then all of a sudden she looked surprised and she's like, there's someone else here. And he just came forward and it's Poseidon. And he's showing up like Jason Momoa from Aquaman. And what's interesting about this, I was happy that she was talking out loud about it because the acupuncturist, her friend, claims not to be intuitive, right? She actually is quite intuitive because when she was giving Reiki to her psychic friend, all kinds of images were coming up. All kinds of symbology was coming up. And then that was boosting her confidence, But while she was on the table, Poseidon comes in as Jason Momoa. And what's important about intuitive hits is each one of us have different life experiences. Each one of us have watched different movies. Each one of us has traveled to different places. Each one of us resonate with things or interpret things differently. So the impression that's going to come to Julie when she's getting her intuitive hits may be different than what's coming to me, even though it's sending the same message. Right? So it's dependent upon the person. And I love that she said that out loud because she knew that it was Poseidon, who's from Greek mythology, who rules the oceans. And he's coming in and they're having a conversation. So she's sharing the conversation that they're having. And she's like, so she keeps calling him Jason at this point. And she's like, Jason's telling me that, he's not sure why he was called in. He was just called to be here. And he says, why did you call me to be here? And so she's telling him, well, I didn't actually call in Poseidon. I actually called in for the highest vibration possible to help with this healing. And you showed up. So I don't know, you figure it out. I don't know why you're here. He says, well, I don't normally come to humans. I rule the oceans. And he said, he knew why he was there after he assessed the situation. And this gave me chills, you guys. So the conversation continued, and he's telling her the reason why he's able to help this particular human on the table. And he started doing things. He started scooping things out of her head. I'm assuming it's negative thought patterns that create doubt or, things in our minds that may be blocking us somehow. Then he's working into her heart. And she had a hamstring injury. And he started going into, she said he was stitching up her injury and healing her hamstring injury. And he said, the reason why I'm here to help her, and she can call on me at any time because I'm going to be here for her. There's 6 things that I'm going to help her through. And once we help her through these 6 items, there's going to be a man. So she lives in Jersey at the corner of New York City. There's a man that lives in Manhattan and he has a terrible illness. He has a tumor and he's really, really sick. He can't focus. He can't do his work. He's struggling right now. But through his treatments, he's going to start to open and expand his mind. And he's also going to seek treatment outside of Western medicine. He's going to get wind and he's going to hear word about you and the healing that you do at this acupuncturist office. And now that you're also doing the Reiki with the acupuncture, he's going to be coming to you and you are going to be a catalyst for his healing. And once he's healed, he's going to be able to think and focus and work again. And he's going to find an assistant. And those two people are going to find a cure to help to heal the oceans of this planet. This is why I was called in to help this human at this time. It was huge, right? It was like, what? And so I'm just like, whoa, that was a pretty big download. That was a pretty big thing. But when she gets off the table and we're talking about it, she didn't really say much. You could tell she wasn't quite sure if she believed it. She was still in the question of it. And then the next day, which was yesterday, I was attuning them for the last piece of the Reiki. And we were going through this little like ceremony at the end. And I just started to burst into tears because I realized how important her role was in helping the oceans, the planet, as well as humanity. Because as we know, the oceans need a lot of work right now. And I started to cry, and I'm just like, I was like, it's weird, because I was wondering why you flew from Jersey to do this training. Now I realize you needed this training with your friend to tell you what was happening at the table, because I wouldn't be able to do that. Now you know what your mission is. And I'm like, you are playing such an important role. And then she started to bawl. And she didn't want to cry. She's like, I don't like to cry. And I'm like, it's okay to cry. And she said out loud, why me? Why me? I'm not important. That's what she said out loud. And then we had like this, kind of healing circle, talking it through. But isn't that systemic in our collective consciousness? So often we think that about ourselves. Why me? Or I'm not special, or I'm not important. But why aren't we? Why do we think that? And so I love yoga and mindfulness practices and meditation because it can really drop us inside of ourselves. It can help us to find beauty and treasures and talents that we didn't even know was there. And it gives us courage and confidence to be able to apply it when we can. But it also gives us the humbleness to know that it may be working through us, but it's not necessarily us, because in yoga, we drop the ego factor. It's really spirit moving through us. It's really part of the divine plan, and we're just playing our part. But our theme for today is about recognizing ourselves in that story and recognizing how sometimes we're telling ourselves that and reprogramming that. Meditation is about discovering where those weak points are in our mindsets and our attitudes, and trying to reframe it, trying to reword it with verbiage that is affirmative. I am important. I am special. It does matter. I matter. I am worthy. I can do this. So we're going to start sitting on our bolster today. Legs can be in any cross-legged shape. Scoot towards the edge so you get that natural pelvic tilt forward, the natural sway in the low back. Have your hands resting down on your lap initially, and roll the shoulders up towards your ears and exhale down and back. And do that a couple more times. Inhale, roll the shoulders forward and up. Exhale down and back. One more. Now keep the shoulders broad. The breastbone rising upward, but close your eyes. to do a mental inventory through your body from your feet up to the face. Acknowledging the places that feel alive and well, but equally acknowledging the places that may feel a little dull or lifeless. We're going to try to open up vitality and this life force to every part of the body, so that by the time that we leave, we feel more whole, more contented. Take some deep breaths in and out through the nose. Inhaling so that the belly and the chest swell and expand. And exhaling, allowing them to deflate. And then once you take a few deep breaths, you're going to take your left hand over your heart. You're going to take your right hand on top of that with your thumbs touching and the fingers pointed towards the side walls, as if you were creating little wings at your heart. We did a class a few months ago talking about the arms being like the set of wings that stem from the heart, and one arm representing love and the other compassion. So as you're breathing in and out right now and feeling the upliftment of the heart, the buoyancy on the inhale, keep that buoyancy even as the chest drops on the exhale. And affirming as you hold your hands here, I am important. I am special. I am worthy. I am loved. And take a few more deep breaths in and out through the nose. And gently begin to flutter your eyes open. We're going to remove the hands. We're going to take that bolster away off to the side. And we're going to join each other in tabletop position. So in tabletop position here, feel free to add in any padding up underneath your knees if you need that extra support. But I want you to drop your head, because lots of times I'll see knees kind of coming forward underneath the low rim of the belly like this. And if that's the case, I want you to travel the knees so they're below or slightly behind your hips. And then look at your feet. If your toes are curling in and your heels are flopping out, line up your feet to be parallel. So it's kind of like you're stacking on top of the big toes. Now lift your head up so you're looking down towards your hands. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Power down through your palms, stacking shoulders, elbows, and wrists. So we're lining up the joints and the bones here through the arms. Now push down through your feet, your ankles, your shins, your knees, your hands, and notice how your belly starts to slurp in and up towards your vertebrae. Notice how your upper back engages. This is the actual tabletop position where the back is flat, where we feel strong. Because if we're dropping the belly and we have the curve in the low back, if someone were to sip hot tea on the back, it might spill and you would get burned. So maintain this action in your core. And now inhale, set your right leg over to the side. Turn your heel slightly towards you so your toes are slightly turned out. Root down through your left limbs. Circle that right arm out and up towards the heavens above. At first, stack your right arm directly over the left. Now push down into your right foot a little bit more and notice what happens to the kneecap. Feel it tighten up. Feel your quads get more defined. Now let's take Stargazer a little bit deeper. So focus on your abdomen and see if you can turn it upward towards the ceiling. See if you can dial your heart more towards the ceiling. And if you get a little bit more of a twist, notice your right arm may angle back. Please do not take the arm back. It should come from your trunk. Remembering the arm is just an extension of the heart. So if there's anything that you've been thinking that you want to do that may feel or seem impossible, remind yourself that that word can break down to I'm possible. Exhale, bring that right hand down. Now notice, is your belly still firm? Hopefully you still feel the tabletop alignment here, and lower the right knee without losing the core work. Now ground down your right ankle, foot, and shin. Take your left leg off to the side, spinning that heel slightly towards you, pressing down into the ball of the foot, root down through your right limb, flip your left hand open, and sail it upward towards the sky. Again, stacking the shoulders initially. But then we're going to play with this twist to see, is it possible to go any more? Again, we're not going to force it, but just see, can you rotate from your waist and belly? Sometimes it's helpful to really roll away from that right arm in order to dial the heart upward. Maybe that arm goes back a little bit, but remember it's coming from the trunk. One more deep breath. If it strains your neck to look up, you can always turn your head to the side wall or even downward. Make sure the left leg stays active, and then keep or bring your left hand down to the floor. Pausing here, ensuring you still have that core work. It's called Uddiyana Bandha, and then bring your left knee down to table. Now from here, you can let go of that engagement because we're going to move to the cow. The belly's going to drop as your hips go back, and then straighten out through your arms, uplift your heart, chin, top of the head, cow tilt. As you exhale, start from your tailbone region, and then scoop into the belly, hide the heart away, and then tuck the chin toward your chest, cat stretch. And then let's move from the low back to the mid back, to the upper back, to the neck, Vittalasana, cow tilt. Exhale from the low back to the mid back, to the upper back, arching upward, and then lowering your head and neck, Mayurasana. Continue this work in a meticulous way, as though you were trying to move one vertebra at a time. So it's really slow, deliberate work. Do one more. Back to your cat stretch. You're going to bring the big toes together now, and you're going to drop the hips towards your heels and land down to the forearms and your brow. Usually dropping the elbows will help to descend the head down, but if your head doesn't come all the way to the floor, that's okay. You can cross your arms or stack your hands to provide a little bit of a headrest here. And this way we're penetrating this third eye point, and there's a marma, an acupressure point here that helps to stimulate the third eye. This is our own intuitive guidance, our innate wisdom. But it can also give us insights, visions. It can help us with dreams, even our imagination. Right now, I want you to just focus on your breath work. Let your belly sink down to your thighs, but make sure that the belly's ballooning in and out as you breathe. Also sense your back lungs ballooning up and down as you breathe. This is a pose that's good for abdominal pain and pressure. This is the pose, my son's about to turn 16, and last night I was like, I haven't told you your birth story in a long time. So I sat and told him the whole birth story. And I was telling him when my contractions hit, this was the pose I took. Of course, I had to separate my knees. But this pose can be calming and soothing. Feel that effect. It can also take us inward. And now relax from all outer involvements into my own inner heat of peace. Now gently pick up the face, and I want everyone to extend the arms farther down the length of the mat, and then you're going to turn your palms open so your thumbs actually roll out, so your upper arms roll out, and then gently lower the head back down. Now at this point, your head may want to hover. You don't have to force it to the floor, but your elbows are off the mat. You're pressing into the back of the hand. Feel the action, feel the stretch. Notice how it affects your side lats even. One more deep breath in. Spill it out. And then turn your hands over, rock up to hands and knees. Exhale, curl your toes, launch into your first Adho Mukha Svanasana. So by the way, I know the last couple weeks, I've been a little bit more ambitious in our blissful flows. We're going to be truly blissful flow today. Press into your hands, keep them shoulder distance apart. Power back to your arms, keep lifting and rising out of your shoulders. Keep lifting and rising out of your sacrum. And then we're going to pump the heels up and down. So as you inhale, come to the tips of the toes. And as you exhale, roll down through the backside of your calves and heels. Inhale, lifting the heels high. Exhale, pumping the heels down. So this pumping action helps with lymphatic drainage in the lower body. Now notice, drop your heels closer, closer, closer to the mat, even if they don't touch. And notice how you may feel a lowering of the elevation of your hips. So we want to find a little bit more height to focus on ascending the energy into that area. So instead of coming to the tips of the toes, press down through the padding of the foot right below the toes, higher than your arch. So your heels are up, but not as high as before. Bend your knees if need be and keep drawing the energy up, up, up towards your sits bone. Good, now walk the feet forward one step at a time, lifting your hands whenever you need to come to the front side of your mat. Plug your feet down, straighten out through your legs unless you need to bend your knees for your back sake. Let your arms dangle freely, let your head fall free. And I want you to nod your head, yes. Yes, you are important. Say, I am important. Yes, you are special. Say internally, I am special. You are worthy. Say internally, I am worthy. And do the same thing with I am loved. Now we're going to try something as we look down at our feet. I want you to imagine you have a quarter below the mound of the big toe. And I want you to imagine that you're pushing down into that quarter and you're trying to pull it back towards your heel. So your big toes gripping the mat and drawing back, and notice how it lifts the arches of your feet. You may even see the muscular engagement on the tops of your feet, or maybe even seeing some of the bones. Notice how it changed up the action and muscular formation through your legs. And then inhale, let's slightly bend the knees. Let's sweep the arms to the sides and up overhead. Come to Urdhva Hastasana at the top. Plug the feet back down. Feel as though you're drawing that quarter back again. And notice how it changes up the pose. Roll the pinkies in. Lean your head back. Place your hands together if that doesn't strain you at all. If not, you can leave it out. And then exhale, hinge from the hips. Fold down and into your Uttanasana, your standing forward fold.
Affirming here, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back, not even my own doubts. Inhale, slide your hands up your shins. Lengthen out through the spine. Draw the shoulder back away from your ears. And then exhale, lower back down and in. All right, inhale, we're taking plank. When you take plank position, stack the arm bones. Press back through your heels slightly. And then shoot your sternum forward. Good, gaining some strength in our bone density for supporting our own body weight. And now rock forward, lower down to chaturanga, that low push-up. Inhale, glide up, upward facing dog. Notice if your heels swap out. If they do, make sure they're parallel. Press down to the top portions of the feet like table, and notice how your glutes get firm. Exhale, curl your toes. Draw in from the abdomen, roll back over the feet, and take downward facing dog. Find that blend of effort and ease. Look at this space between the big toes. If it's more than 4 inches, close the gap a little bit. You're gonna need it for better balance. Inhale, lift your left leg halfway up, Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. If your shoulders rock forward, power back again. And then step or swing that left foot through between the hands. Now I do lift my wrists and thumbs in order to get that foot planted. Notice when we come here, we're kind of dumping over the knee. So come to the tips of the middle fingers, lift your chest away from the knee, look out with your eyes, back thigh lifts up. Exhale, swirl the right heel down to the floor. Inhale, build up, warrior 2. Good, keep lunging that front knee a little bit more, yes. And then Susan, roll open through your left thigh, just a tad, yep. You want that knee facing the center of your foot. And then zip it up through your midriff. Gaze out towards the fire finger at the midpoint of your left hand. And then flip that palm open, lift it skyward, let your right arm hang back, side warrior. Breathe. Exhale, let's helicopter the hands down. Let's spin off the back heel. Left foot plank. Hold your plank, be here, feel it. Exhale, rock forward, lower down, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, straight arms, hips elevated. Up dog, firm the glutes. Exhale, curl your toes, rock and roll back, downward facing dog. Close any excessive gap between the big toes. Soften your jaw. Inhale, let your right leg lift halfway up and flex that ankle and feel as though that right leg's an extension of your spine. When you're ready, swing that foot through between the hands. Line it up so that shin's perpendicular to the floor. Stack on the tips of the middle fingers. Radiate the heart towards the front side of the room. Swivel the back heel down. Take the left arm up first. Come to warrior 2. Rolling open through both thighs and pushing the left thigh bone back. Turn that right hand. Take the side one. Breathe and be here. Exhale, let's bring the hands down, spin off the back heel. We're gonna bring that back foot forward, lift up halfway. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, roll down, Uttanasana. Inhale, coming on up. Arms right in the face at first, chin parallel to the floor. Activate that imaginary quarter so that you're activating the bandha of the feet. That's the arch of the feet. And then lean the head back, hands come together. Exhale, release. Uttanasana, standing forward fold. The legs are what help keep us moving forward in life. Inhale, come halfway up. Consider where you want to go with that movement, with that momentum. And then exhale, lower back down and in. Inhale, let's take plank. From your plank, be long and strong here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, in 4 inches, grew wider here. Step your feet a little closer. We're now going to lift the right leg halfway up. We're going to step that foot all the way forward and up between the hands. Again, tip to the middle finger, lengthening out to the vertebrae. Turn the back heel down. Helicopter the arms up. All right, with your arms coming up, you're going to look over here toward Mary and Julie. And once you turn your head, you're going to sweep the right arm under the left so that you're locking your arms to Garudassana, eagle arms. It's okay if your hands don't quite come together, but you're going to push the elbows together and whatever point of your hands come together. If the arms are smushing the chest, create some space. Inhale, separate the arms back to Virabhadrasana 2. Look out the front hand. Exhale, you're going to lean forward, right elbow resting on the thigh. Left arm sweeps across the ear, turning that pinky down, thumb up, and then really applying more pressure through your back foot. If you want to take another expression, it's fine. Parsvottanasana. As you exhale, look down, spin off the back heel, hands frame the foot, right foot, plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, roll it on back. Being inverted, head between the arms, gazing back towards the feet. Fine tune your alignment, fine tune your breath. All right, second side. Inhale, left leg lifts halfway. Good. Exhale, step it through. Come to that lunge first. Roll down the back heel next. Bring it up, warrior 2. Ideally, that front thigh is sinking, so we can really get into that hip. Now turn your gaze towards the windows. And take your left arm underneath your right. Garudassana, we're threading the arms together. Lift the elbows away from your chest. Breathe. Unwrap the arms. Lengthen them back out, looking down the front hand. And then exhale, take the modified side angle, unless you want to do more. Rinse out that top shoulder, draw it back out of your peripheral line of view if possible, and solidify that back foot. Affirming, I am a fountain of boundless energy and power, full of potentiality. Look down towards that left foot. When you're ready, unwind that back foot. Step back. Oh, wait a minute. Back foot steps forward. That was the second side, wasn't it? Yeah. Inhale, come halfway up. I'm trying to leave out an extra vinyasa today. You're welcome,
Maybe.
Exhale, lower. Inhale all the way up. Arms right over the face, fingertips rising, big toes pulling back. All right, hands together, gaze up. Exhale, fold down the middle. Uttanasana, we're gonna keep it rolling. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, let's take plank. Exhale, rock forward, lower down, elbows clipped inside body. Inhale, pelvis off the floor. If you're doing up dog, you can always modify. Exhale, roll back, down dog. Look at your feet, line them up properly, because inhale, we're gonna lift the left leg halfway up. And here we wanna keep the hips and the shoulders square and even. Swing that left foot through between the hands. Hop the back foot slightly forward, offset it. And inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. When you come to Warrior 1, glance down at the front knee and make sure it's not caving in. Facing the center of the foot or the second and third toe. All right, we're gonna bring the arms down and circle the right arm and hook it under the left. So now we're doing Garuda arms in Warrior 1. Keep the head over the shoulders over the hips. You can lean forward slightly. We're peeling up the back foot. We're crossing it over the standing leg in front, lifting the elbows back up. Gazing straight ahead with the eyes. Dharadasana, eagle. Take any expression, balance and breathe. Focus your eyes on one spot. Be the calm in the midst of life's storms. We're gonna unwrap the arms, the wings of loving compassion. We're gonna straighten the left leg, unwrap the right foot, and take airplane. Safely land the right foot. Come to stand, feet side by side, arms alongside us. No crashes, that's good. Hands to heart. Same flow, second side. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Maybe upward worship. Being grateful for this life and the role that we as individuals play. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, drop in. Inhale, step back. Exhale, low push up. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, roll it on back. Line up your feet. Create that state of oneness with your breath. Second side, right leg lifts halfway up. Step it through. Offset and hop the back foot down. Once you have that firm foundation, inhale, Warrior 1. Spine's more erect as I almost lose my balance. Left arm is going to hook under the right. Dharadasana arms. Lean forward, step the left foot across. Legs are wrapped, and if you're still leaning forward, lift back up. Spread your wings. Straighten the right leg. Send the tail cone of the airplane back. That's your left foot. Breathe. Safe landing, lift the head, lower the left foot. Relax your arms. Ooh. Blissful's not always easy. Hands prayer. Inhale, circle the arms overhead. Urdhva Hastasana or upward worship, yogi's choice. Exhale, flow. In, halfway lift. Out and lower down. Inhale, we'll take plank. Exhale, low push up. Inhale, up dog. Heels clip in. Exhale, down dog. All right, this is where we're gonna change it up and bring it back to the floor. Inhale, the left leg's gonna rise, except you're gonna scissor and take downward scorpion. Don't be so quick with that maneuver because we haven't really worked the inner thighs. This pose is gonna get us there. So be cautious. From here, unroll the hip. Let's bring the shin forward for pigeon and slide or walk the right leg back behind. Now, if you already know this is, please follow Mary's guidance. If you need to flip to your back, left ankle over the right knee, totally fine. But I want you to always test the waters here first. Life is always making different deposits in the body. So when we show up, we're checking in. How do I feel here? Where's the sensation here? Is this where I need to be today? Or take it to swing song. One is not better or more advanced than the other. It's not about how low you can go, it's where do I need this? And then of course, if you want to spill down to the face, you can also check in there. But please don't take it to the degree where you feel like you're holding your breath. You want your breath to stay fluid. And so what I want to share with you now, part of our conversation with this woman who was feeling a little overwhelmed with the information that she gathered this weekend. You know, we were telling her, you may or may not know who this man is. He may just be a client. He may not share what he does for a living. You may never know who this person is. Just trust it. And that way, the pressure's off. But we don't always know the seeds that we plant, the difference we make, but we are important. Consider and be contemplative what it is in your mindset that makes you feel or think otherwise. Reframe it. hips can be like a holding tank in the body. See if you can stay for a couple more breaths, even if you have to back up. We'll inhale, slowly start to come up. And if you're on your back, you can either twist on your back or you can come up and do the same twist we're doing. So we're gonna roll, push away from the right hand to roll towards the outer left thigh. And then we're gonna slide that knee so it's facing more the top of the mat. And we're gonna swing the right foot around and stack it on the other side of that knee. Notice if that right foot runs off the floor and you're gonna come back down to your whole seat. And if this is uncomfortable for your belly or chest or hip for any reason, you can bring the foot over to the side. All right, we're gonna hug that knee in, but don't twist yet. Because I want you to really lift through your side waist, through your whole spine, and then circle the right hand behind you, stacking on the fingertips. Now that we have taken the spinal twist, I want you to focus at your shoulders. So take a deep breath in, drive your left shoulder forward and your right shoulder back. If that wasn't too much, maintain it, but breathe into it. Close your eyes a moment. Everything is made of energy. Energy is vibration, and even what we think has power. So I want you to imagine a big beam of love and light moving north to the northeast of America, to Canada, where the wildfires are, and all the wildlife and people that are being affected. And affirm, I send you my love, goodwill, and compassion. Feel as though the fractals of that light are breaking up the pollution, supporting those who are trying to assist. And exhale, unwind from that position. We're going to take the right leg back, plant the palms, step it into downward facing dog. And maybe even take a moment just to notice the difference between the left and the right leg and hip. We're gonna try to balance this all up. So let's lift the right leg skyward, let's scissor it. And then bend the knee, take downward scorpion. You can even turn your head and look up underneath that right arm, but be really cautious with where you're headed with the inner left thigh. When you're ready, you're coming through forward pigeon. And then of course, if you need the alternative, please take it. That is yoga. Respecting and honoring your body and limitations. That's the waters here. Notice what you're receiving here before descending anymore. And then check those 3 different placements, if it's available, to see what you need the most. And I'm going to give you silence. This song is talking about Shakti The Shakti Kundalini resides at the base of the spine. And poses like this activate and help to awaken that dormant, creative energy. I'm getting anybody on their back. If you want to take a supine twist, you're welcome to. Those of us pouring down, we're going to slowly come up. We're going to push away from the left hand to roll to the outer right hip. We're going to slide the right knee so it's facing the front of the room. Swing that left foot around, plant it, and then drop back onto the left side of your seat. And if this is really awkward and uncomfortable, it's okay to bring the foot back. All right, inhale, let's lift up and hug the knee with the right arm. Send that left hand behind your back, turning the fingertips towards the back wall. Take the twist, but don't overdo. Because we're gonna see, once we hold it for a few breaths, if we can go a little deeper. All right, let's drive the right shoulder forward, the left shoulder back. A little bit more through the dorsal region of the back, the thoracic spine. All right, I want you to consider another person, place, thing, or situation. It could even be back to yourself, where you want to send that beam of love and light. Remember, energy and our imagination does hold some power. Affected at a subtle level, affected at a quantum level. Sending your love, goodwill, and compassion to you or to them. So let's unwind. And then we're going to bring the feet together. So if you're on your back, come back up to sits. When the feet come together, draw the feet in a little closer. Open the feet out like a book. Lift up energetically and exhale, fold down. You want to come down with a straight back to be in the active form of the pose. Since you're leaning forward, you may or may not be able to reach. If you need to reach ahead to bring a block, you bring it back closer. And if you can't reach it, don't worry about it. When you come up, you can grab it after that. All right, inhale, let's slowly come up. Find your block if you need it, or maybe it's right here with you. Lift your knees up. You're going to come down to your spine. Heels located underneath your knees. Broaden your upper back. Press down through the feet. Charge into your hamstrings and glutes to lift the buttocks off the floor. Slide that block under the sacrum. And then turn your hands open. Sit down upon the block, keep your knees parallel. The eyes can be open or shut, supported bridge. Lift the feet up. I have not been paying any attention to the time, and we're at 10:30, so we need to come down, but you want to point and flex the feet a moment. Activate that circulation, because it's good for circulation. It's good for aiding the heart. Now let's plug the feet back down, tuck and lift away from the block. Roll it down, and hopefully you can take for Shavasana. Turn to one side. We're gonna set up with our 2 blocks and create columns for Stonehenge. Scooting a little closer, stacking the calves on top. And the hands can rest off or on the body. Once you find comfort in the pose, I want you to rest your eyes. I want you to rest your brain. I want you to rest your body. And all you have to do is just simply make sure that you're resting, but still awake. And if you're listening to the music, or if you can hear the music, it's Ramadasa Sase Soham, which is a healing mantra.
Deep breath. Open it up. Once you have a more enlivened breath, feel free to hug your knees in. Wrapping your arms around with metta, loving kindness, and Maitri, radical self-acceptance. As you're hugging your knees in, feel as though you're giving yourself a great big hug and affirming one last time, I am special, I am important, I am worthy, and I am loved. Roll over to one side. Push down through the top hand to build up for a comfortable seat. Sitting tall and attentive with the eyes closed and going back into your body. If you noticed any area before that may have felt more dull and lifeless, check it out now. Now join your palms together to prayer, sealing our practice, sealing the intention behind the practice, the theme of the practice, the affirmations of the practice. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thanks for showing up today, being here. And have a beautiful rest of your week.